I just realized I have no friends. Like zero. Zip, zilch, nada. No friends, man. Like I had all sorts of friends on the road when I was backpacking, hiking, we're going on adventures, we're going on volcanoes, we're going to springs, we're going to the ocean, we're going diving, cenotes, adventure, friends. Back to the States, nothing. Those people that you used to be really close with, you grew up together, did everything together, maybe at a different phase in your life, high school, college, after college, whatever, and now those friendships have now been reduced to nothing more than just a view on an Instagram story. It's kind of weird. It's like, go away, you know? Why do you stalk me? We don't even talk anymore. It's weird. There's a couple of reasons. There's a couple of theories that I have. Okay, are you ready for it? One is because, well, unstable childhood. You know? Yeah, I'm sorry. Your parents can screw you up sometimes. It's probably part of it. You know, I was the new kid every single year. I was the new kid from about K to at least 7th grade. And then once I hit 7th grade, I had a bit more stability till like I was a junior in high school, then moved again, and then we move all the time in college, right? Then you take jobs and you go, and then I was moving all over the place. So I learned how to make friends really quickly, but I also learned how to put a wall up and not have attachments. You just become a chameleon and you can blend in with all these groups of people, which is good because you have friends all over the place, but it's also bad because you may never truly have a sense on who you are because you're always trying to fit in with all these different groups of people, right? Because that's all we really want to do as people. Like, we just want to fit in. We just want to belong somewhere. So if you get used to that, I don't know, maybe you have like attachment issues, and when you get older, you know, it really can shine through later on in life. I don't know though, I think it could also hold people back that never had to move because they kind of cling to those lifelong friendships maybe a little bit too long. Maybe that holds them back from trying new things. Maybe it's a little harder. Either way, it's tough growing up, right? And we all have to deal with things in our own way. And apparently when we get older, like I'm 30, I think I'm probably more sad about it than I look. I mean, but I'm just a workaholic now. Like I just work. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at not working all the time. I cried in my bed at night. That's about it. But honestly, I think this is a normal part of society, at least in first world countries. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was 16 years old and I asked my dad a question one time, and I was like, Dad, how come you don't have any friends? And he was like, what do you mean, son? And I was like, well, like, where are your friends at? Like, we never hang out with anybody. And he was like, well, son. And he was sitting on the couch reading some sort of, I don't know, some sort of book that he was getting like a higher level cert in his career. Super committed to his career. Good job, Dad. But you know, that's what he did, right? Like, he just studied and like just kept going, like achievement after achievement after achievement. And he worked hard, he worked long hours, worked all day, and then when he got home, like we would do the dinner thing. Like, we were just always with the family, and then he would study for work. But I was like, yeah, where are your friends at? And he was like, well, son, when you get older, things change. You know, friends really aren't all that important anymore. And, you know, people change, people grow apart, we grow up, we all have our own lives to tend to, and, you know, we all got our own stuff going on. And I remember what I felt in the pit of my stomach when my dad said that to me. At that time, I was in high school, and I was just like, could you imagine having kids? You just have these little guys running around like telling you stuff that just makes you stop and think. But I was like, wow, that's really sad, Dad. Like, you need to call your friends. You know? I was always so concerned about my dad's friends. I was like, why does this guy not have any friends? Like, I have like hundreds of friends. I mean, it felt like that anyways, and he didn't have really much, you know, and I don't know, maybe I made him think a little bit, but he's right. You know, now I'm 30. I just got back from traveling. It's completely different, by the way, when you go to other parts of the world. And maybe when you're traveling, you're already like having a heightened experience. So everyone's more open naturally. Everyone's looking to make friends. Maybe it's different. But when you come back here and people aren't trying new things and they just are in a rut, and their life has really just become stagnant, like, it's really hard. First of all, it's really hard for that to not rub off on you. But secondly, like, people just don't really go out of their way to make friends. It's like, hey man, you don't call me. It's like, well, you've got to put some effort into making friends, right? Like, if you don't have friends, it's kind of your fault. Like, if I choose to work all the time and I don't put any effort into calling somebody when they don't call me, if I'm not the first person to make the move, then, you know, I just throw my hands up and say, well, I don't have any friends. Like, no, like, that's your fault. Like, you've got to put forth effort. And I think that, I don't know, we're all so selfish and we don't even realize it. Like, we just get caught up in our own little world, and we're just like, well, you won't call me or you don't text me, and so I'm not gonna, you know, maybe, and then we isolate ourselves. Yeah, it's kind of messed up. You know, probably one of the weirdest things that I do is I eat alone a lot of times, at least for lunch, you know, usually in my truck, just like a creature or an animal. Like, I go through the drive-through, oh my gosh, and I just scarf my food before I get to my next destination because I just want to keep going, you know. I know that's probably just, I don't know. Like, it's probably important to have a meal, slow down for a day, and just sit down and enjoy other people's presence and, you know, engage somebody about their life and see what's going on with them. Or share something about yourself, you know, like, have some community, have some fellowship with other people. Like, I know in Latin America, there's a saying, I forgot what it's called. Did I write it down? No. Let's call Diana. Diana knows what this term is called.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I had a question.
Yeah.
There's this term that I was trying to think of that you taught me that is when people eat dinner, they usually slow down and enjoy their meal and talk to people and have like community. Because I'm talking about how nowadays, especially, you know, at least where I am right now, it's where people, they don't really sit down and enjoy a meal anymore. They just kind of eat as fast as they can and get on with their day. So I was trying to explain the concept that, like, in other parts of the world, other than like the US, where people enjoy a meal. Do you remember what that was called?
Yes. Do you remember?
I think so.
How is
like
it?
Sobra something? Sobremesa.
No. Mente is mind. How do you say table?
Mesa.
Exacto. Put those together. Sobremesa.
Sobremesa.
Exactly.
Okay. What is sobremesa?
Well, sobremesa is when you finish eating. It doesn't have to be like dinner. It can be any meal. Usually lunch or, yeah, it can be dinner. when you finish eating and you just stay there in the table, talking, sharing, spending time with other people. It can be your friends, it can be your family. Yeah, it's a concept. Like you finish eating, usually you have coffee, or you can just have nothing, but you stay there talking and sharing. Yeah, spending time together. Don't you do that?
Yeah, sure. I think people do that at times, but I don't think that there's like a term or a name for it. So I thought that was kind of cool that you have a name for it.
Yeah, because it's part of the culture. It's important to sit together. Like eating is not just eating. It's spending time with the people you care about or the people you love.
Friends, we could say.
Friends, family, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I just kind of like felt guilty because apparently it's a thing for other cultures to actually recognize other people's presence maybe a little bit more than what we do over here in America. And they live life a little bit slower. And I'm convinced that that's really the way. Like, I honestly don't think the way that Americans and other first world developed countries, like the West, lives life. Like, I don't think that's the way that we're supposed to live life. Like, think about it. You wake up, okay, you're already in your isolated little cookie cutter house. You wake up, and then you get in a box, a metal cage, and you're isolated in that thing. And then you commute, and then you go to another office, right? Another box. And then you're in that box all day. And then you get back in your metal cage, and then you go back to a box. Like box to box to box. And you really just spend most of our lives isolated from other people. And think about it, when you're in traffic, like, you wouldn't treat people in like face to face the way you treat somebody behind a steering wheel. Like, no way. I don't think it's right, honestly. And since I've been traveling in like all these like little traveler communities where there's more of a rich culture, there's like expats, there's people from all over the world. You don't drive a whole lot. Like, you just walk like a human being. You're human. You're supposed to walk. Like, daily, often. Like, when you want to go somewhere, you're supposed to walk. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, I think that you should really just, even if you live in a big metroplex area, I don't know. Like, why do you need to drive all the way to go grab some groceries or to run errands? Like, life is so much better if you can just kind of pick out a spot that suits you and just be able to walk to everything you need. Life is so much better that way. I think people are more happy. It's healthier. Like, people underestimate walking drastically. Like, walking has so many health benefits. Just walking. Just getting out and moving your body. Like, getting things in flow. Like, getting some momentum in your life. You know, if everything else is going wrong, man, at least you can go for a walk and get some movement in here. And like, here in the States, like, if you're walking on the side of the road, it's like something's wrong. Like, something bad has happened to you. So yeah, I think that's probably a reason why I don't necessarily have a whole lot of friends. And I imagine a lot of people feel the same way. Like, we probably live isolated lives and we don't even know it. So because that is the reality, now you have to try extra hard to make friends. And it's just kind of turns into being a part-time job. And most of us don't even have time for that because we do all have our own things going on. Like, we have so many things that society tells us that we have to keep up at the same time. It's hard to do all these things, right? Or at least that's what we tell ourselves. And if we believe it's hard, it's going to remain hard, and we're not going to have any friends. So yeah, I saw some people doing these videos, and I just thought it would be fun to come on here and talk a little bit about it to you guys. Because I don't think it has to be that way. Like, I think if you're aware of some of these things, I think that you can start to change this. You have to become involved in your community. You have to make an effort. I don't know, maybe you need to travel. Maybe you need to get out of your comfort zone. Try something new once in a while. Just, you don't always need to be comfortable all the time, okay? Like, when you get in the car, you've got the AC on, right? Like, you get home, you got the AC on. You've got food waiting for you. Like, everything's always, like, just right. Like, we don't always have to be comfortable, okay? Like, you're not made to do that. Like, the human body is very resilient. It can go through a lot of things, and for us to progress and change and grow, like, the body has to overcome obstacles. And if you're never having any obstacles in your life, you're just walking on easy street. Like, there is no such thing as just steady. Like you're either going up or you're going down. But it's tricky because it's not like so drastic. Like, it's just ever so slight. And it's hard to tell when you're going down. You think that you're maintaining. You're like, oh, like I'm on this, and then you look up. Years have gone by, and you have terrible. Well, I don't want to speak for everybody. Maybe some people have happy marriages, but the divorce rate is pretty high. And then when families spend so much time just together, like, we're a family, we do things together. Like, that's kind of weird. Like you talk about, like, that's the most important people in your life, like just your immediate family, and then you guys just do everything together. It's like it's kind of inward, you know. I remember that's what we did a lot when I was a kid, and I didn't like it. Not that I didn't like to spend time with my family, but I was very social when I was little. And the older that I've gotten less and less social. And I think it's affected me. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of pulls me down sometimes. And so I think that I've got to work on kind of reawakening that kid that was inside of me, and just do a really good job at engaging people and going first. And just because somebody doesn't call me back or text me back all the time, or if they don't respond just the way that I want them to, like, that's okay. Like, I can be empathetic of other people's situations. It's not all about me. I think that's one thing that really helps me be able to connect with people, is when I take, the attention off of myself and I redirect that towards somebody else, and I try to just see what's going on in their world. Like, what do you need? And I had to do that a lot when I was traveling. So I'm not traveling at the moment. Like, I came back to the States for a while to kind of collect my thoughts, collect my head, and figure out what I'm going to do next. Kind of like the crossroads and a transition. And I just needed to chill out for a minute and figure out how my 30s are going to go. Like, what's this next decade going to look like? I'm not so worried about money as much as I was. I'm not worried about having a house or a car. But I am worried about the people in the community and the activities that consume my daily life. So that's what I'm really going to start putting my attention on. I don't have a whole lot of friends right now, at least here in the States. And it seems like my really good friends have turned into, more than anything, they're acquaintances. And maybe that's a good thing. Sometimes it's better to have, nobody in your life than the wrong people in your life. But, man, I think that we just really need to figure out how to get connected again and be relatable. It's going to be really hard. Like, you really have to be aware of it, I think. You got to be around other like-minded people who also want the same thing. But yeah, it doesn't have to be all bad. Like, I think there's a lot of people that don't have friends, but you can always change that, Everyone's got social anxiety now. I don't know what the answer is. Wish I did. If anybody does, let me know and what your thoughts are, because I'm tired of just doing life alone, being isolated from the world all the time, like just hiding. It's ridiculous. So yeah, let me know what you think. Random video, but See ya.